What's going on, everybody? We're back with another one, and today we have to get into Kevin Durant because his burner accounts and the way he talks about his teammates to defend and strengthen his resume over the years have become one of those topics that continues to rub people the wrong way whenever the conversation turns to KD and his legacy. You probably wouldn't have expected this from the same guy who once said, "We gotta go back to competing with these dudes," after LeBron joined Miami. Looking at everything that has happened throughout Durant's career since that moment, it's hard to imagine many people predicting that his journey would unfold the way it eventually did. And when it comes to KD's burner accounts, we all remember the infamous moment when he apparently thought he had logged out, only to come right back in and start defending himself. He was criticizing Billy Donovan, arguing that it was basically just him and Russ in OKC, and making the case that he couldn't win with that roster. He also eventually explained why he even had those burner accounts in the first place, and this is what he had to say.
The burner accounts. Did you have the little button switching back and forth?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Why?
Because I wanted to be stealth. I didn't want nobody to know that was me. I mean, that's really why you get a burner account.
I can see you cussing him out. I can see you cussing out, what's his name, Windhorse, all them, Sham Charania. Why are you so worried about what the man living in his mama basement say about you?
I mean, he need to know too. Like seriously, if you're questioning what I'm doing, then shit, why not get it from the source if you that interested?
We've already watched Kevin Durant go at fans and even other celebrities on X, which seems to be the platform where KD does most of his talking, although now he's also active on Threads. But during this past season, an account allegedly linked to him, Get Higher 77, became part of a major online discussion after posts surfaced appearing to talk about Jabari Smith Jr., the coaching, certain plays being drawn up, and the overall direction of the team. Those posts eventually spread across social media, and because of Durant's history with burner accounts, people within the organization reportedly believed Kevin Durant was behind the account. Now, that whole situation is only the backdrop for what I really want to get into today, because Kevin Durant recently spoke about his 2017 Warriors team and compared them with this new Sixers squad featuring LeBron and Jaylen Brown, breaking down how he views those two teams against each other. And this is what he said.
You don't think so?
No, I'm just asking you.
Last time they put three 20-point scores on the team, they said it was unfair, which is the team I was on. They got 4 25-point scores on this team. So hell yeah, I think they're going to be a contender, man. They're going to be a great team to watch.
Before we get into Ryan Clark's reaction and why he called KD out over this comparison, let's first look at where both teams were in terms of age and career stage, because when you examine Golden State, their core players were coming together right around the peak of their careers. These guys were operating at an extremely high level, right in the middle of their primes, and their production reflected that. Philly, on the other hand, has far more questions to answer and a lot more moving pieces to manage. Jaylen Brown is entering his absolute peak at 30, while Joel Embiid, despite being 32 and technically still within his prime, has a much different situation physically. As I mentioned in a video on my other channel, I broke down the swelling in his left knee and the injuries he has dealt with over the years, because that cumulative wear could become a major factor in what Philadelphia is able to do next season. Then you have Tyrese Maxey, who is right around the beginning of his prime and continuing to develop into that level of player. And then there's LeBron James at 41, who obviously isn't the same version of LeBron we watched dominate years ago. So yes, this Sixers roster has positioned itself to compete for something major, but there are still plenty of obstacles they have to navigate, and unlike those Warriors, winning isn't simply a foregone conclusion. Naturally, KD caught plenty of backlash for making the comparison, and he even jumped into the comments to defend his position, responding to Tev Stakes by saying, "Ain't close." He pointed to Joel being a recent MVP, Jaylen Brown being a recent Finals MVP, Tyrese Maxey becoming an All-Star, and everything LeBron has accomplished over the last 3 years. Then he compared that to Klay Thompson, saying he was never an MVP candidate and averaged 22 points per game, while Draymond Green was putting up 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists, with Steph Curry being an MVP just like Joel. Basically, KD couldn't understand how anyone could look at the two rosters and say the Warriors were clearly better on paper. And that was really the point he was trying to make, even if he didn't spell it out that directly during the interview. Then Klay jumped in with the hilarious response, basically asking KD why he was using his entire government name, while Draymond joked that KD must have thought he was still hiding behind one of his burner accounts. So now, let's hear exactly what Ryan Clark had to say about all of this.
Kevin Durant 2-year era is so much better than the 76ers team. Now, the 76ers names make you feel, because you hear Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is no longer MVP Joel, right? We're trying to figure out how to make sure he's healthy in the playoffs. When he's healthy and when he's rolling, he is an excellent player. LeBron James ain't like Heat LeBron or Cavs LeBron, even Lakers early LeBron. LeBron is a 20-point scorer that can turn it on when he needs to, because we saw him do it in the playoffs last year in the first round. But the one thing about when you get older, it's not that I can't be great, it's that I can't be great as often as you need me to, because my body doesn't do that. And then you got Edgecombe come off a great rookie year, and Maxey, who's been right there in scoring with Anthony Edwards since they came into the league. Now let's talk about the mother effing Warriors. The year before they came, they teamed up. Steph averaged 30, unanimous MVP. KD averaged 28. Klay averaged 22. Draymond was in his prime. Andre Iguodala was the fix-all, do-everything player. At that time, you had two, however you want to say it, of the 4 best players or 3 best players in the world. You had Steph and you had KD. There was only LeBron and Kawhi who was going to be a part of the conversation any kind of other way. It's not close. Whoever you put around prime KD, prime Steph, prime Klay, prime Draymond could be named Samington. It did not matter. The other person was not important. He could have been Kadeem Hardison on the 6th man if he wanted him to be. It did not matter.
Okay.
That's how great those players were in that moment, to where Kevin Durant was a luxury. LeBron is a need on this team. And I think I missed Jaylen Brown in speaking about who the Sixers were, because in my opinion, he's going to be the best player on this team and the guy. And even with him, he ain't what they was.
Number 6 in MVP voting last year, Jaylen Brown. Y'all don't believe in Maxey and Edgecombe, the puppies?
They are good. Guess what?
Y'all don't believe in the puppies?
Hey, guess who was number 1 in MVP voting unanimously the year before KD went there? Steph Curry.
Yeah, but he's right there top 10. Y'all don't believe in the puppies? Y'all want Joel to get hurt? Man, y'all are... Bro, listen, Philly about to go crazy.
No,
I tell you what Bron's gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what Bron's gonna do. Bron's gonna take it easy, let the puppies run, take the last 5 minutes of every quarter and go crazy real quick.
I think you crazy. I'm trying to figure out how Semi catch strays. Man behind the camera, I see.
Now, let me put this whole situation into perspective for you, because to me, this sounds a lot like Kevin Durant searching for validation, especially because deep down, he knows what happened when he was in Oklahoma City. He had Golden State down 3-1 and had a legitimate opportunity to close that series out. It was mistakes from him and Russell Westbrook that helped prevent them from winning one of those final 3 games. They only needed to steal one of those 3 opportunities, but somehow they couldn't get it done. And ironically, the exact same thing eventually happened to Golden State in the finals before KD decided to join them. Now it feels like he's trying to reshape that history by arguing that we've seen other teams built similarly to that Warriors squad. But that Golden State team had already won 73 games and was practically tailor-made for a player like Durant to walk in, add his scoring ability, and give them another unstoppable weapon. They weren't being pushed to the absolute limit every round because they were simply overwhelming opponents with talent and execution. And that's exactly why KD joining them became such a major part of the conversation surrounding his legacy at the time. Nobody can deny that Kevin Durant is an incredible basketball talent. The man is a phenomenal talent. But unlike LeBron, KD hasn't gone back to Cleveland and won after leaving, and he hasn't gone somewhere like Los Angeles and built a championship legacy there either. When you look at his championship resume, every title is connected to his time with the Golden State Warriors, while before that, his biggest opportunity came with Oklahoma City. And OKC was even becoming a possible destination for a return at one point, but then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went out there and won a championship while KD was still playing in the league. Once they proved they could finally get over that hump without him, there really wasn't much reason left for an Oklahoma City reunion.
J-Dub proved he could be the second guy alongside Shai and still help that
team reach the mountaintop and win the championship. Then KD went to Brooklyn, and that's where things really started getting complicated, because he had James Harden and Kyrie Irving alongside him. People were saying that with a roster like that, it shouldn't have even come down to the wire, because the talent was simply too overwhelming for excuses. But they didn't win. The situation in Brooklyn eventually fell apart between him and Kyrie, and KD eventually moved on to Phoenix, where he was paired with another elite bucket getter in Devin Booker. Now, if we're going to judge teams strictly on paper and start using KD's own logic, then look at Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, and tell me why that combination wasn't automatically supposed to work. All three guys can score at an elite level, so by that logic, putting three high-level scorers together should solve everything. But that's not basketball, and that's not how winning teams are actually built. Basketball is about understanding roles and figuring out whether your individual games actually fit together. And that's where things can become extremely complicated, especially offensively. Defensively, you can usually find ways to make things work when everyone is willing and capable of defending. But offensively, you have to ask whether everybody needs the ball, whether players can move without it, whether someone is comfortable playing a smaller role, or whether they need to dominate possessions like James Harden. All of those details matter when you're trying to understand why certain super teams work while others completely fall apart. And when you look back at KD's time with Golden State, that roster was almost perfectly constructed for somebody like him to step into and immediately thrive. Honestly, they could have added a lesser player and probably still been extremely successful. They could have gone after somebody like Paul George and still won. They could even find a wing who wasn't quite on Paul George's level and still probably had enough, because all they really needed was another solid offensive perimeter player to complete what they
already had. Remember, that series went 7 games, and if Draymond doesn't make that costly mistake in Game 5, I honestly believe Golden State probably still wins the series, potentially 4-1. And if that happens, we're having a completely different conversation about everything that followed. I think a big part of what KD is doing now is searching for validation that he won a true NBA championship on his own terms. Because LeBron eventually got that validation after leaving Miami, while Durant never won another championship that wasn't connected to Golden State. And then there's another layer to this whole story, because Steph Curry went on to win another championship without Kevin Durant, doing it again in 2022. That reignited the debate over who was actually the best player, because KD won Finals MVP during those Warriors championships while playing alongside Steph. But when Steph left that era behind and still managed to win another title, it highlighted the difference in their situations, the strength of Golden State's system, the structure around them, and honestly, the value of staying in one place and building something instead of constantly moving from situation to situation. And I genuinely believe Oklahoma City was probably 1 year away when Kevin Durant was there. If he comes back the following season, I think there's a very real chance they beat Golden State, and suddenly we're not looking at years of Golden State versus Cleveland finals matchups. Instead, KD potentially gets another opportunity to run it back with Russ and eventually meet LeBron again on the biggest stage, only this time it's LeBron in Cleveland rather than Miami. That one decision could have completely changed the timeline of NBA history and the way we remember Kevin Durant's career today. So when I look at everything surrounding these comments, I honestly believe some of this is KD trying to get that validation, and that's simply my take on it.